A protest against the local authorities' wasteful, ambiguous schemes and measures that impact dwellers was held in front of Hounslow House by residents from the Chiswick area of Hounslow Borough. People with disabilities were among the protesters. Residents of Hounslow, mainly campaigners, was calling on anyone who opposes the new traffic restrictions to show their support at the meeting hosted at Hounslow House commencing before 7 p.m. Conservative councillors in Chiswick have asked the London Borough of Hounslow to reconsider the decision announced at the end of August, to further restrict access to Grove Park from the A316. They have requested that the decision of the Chief Officer for Transportation, Jefferson Nwokeoma, be reconsidered. The Overview and Scrutiny Committee will decide on Thursday evening, 23rd of September, whether the decision should be sent to Cabinet to be reconsidered. The Collins Subcommittee has been advised to look into a call-in request from 8 council members regarding a Chief Officer decision. Jefferson Nwokeoma, Assistant Director of Transport, Parking, and Environmental Strategy, titled COVID-19 Transport Response, Interim Review of Street Space Phases 1 and 2A, which was published on August 27, 2021. Inadequate consultation with stakeholders before making decisions is one of the reasons for the call-in. From the start, the Council's communication with residents about the new traffic restrictions has been poor. The consultation method that was used was superficial, insufficient, and completely inadequate. Officers have rejected alternative ideas and solutions without think and reflect. The online surveys and participation sessions were simply unknown to many residents. As a result of this report, the A316 to Burlington Lane access will be closed, and the time during which Staveley Road access will be restricted will be extended. Because of the changes to the Staveley Road access restrictions, a new white list for certain residents has been created. There has been no engagement with residents, those with special needs or disabilities, local businesses, or local schools on these completely new proposals. An already complicated and nuanced scheme is being made even more complicated without consulting those who will be most affected. There isn't enough evidence to make a decision. Officers have acknowledged that the data on vehicles movement is incomplete and that it was collected in a post-lockdown period when many people preferred to drive by car rather than risk public transport services. Of course, many people have managed to work from home rather than commute. Furthermore, there is a complete lack of air quality data, as well as any data that can be used to evaluate the impact of modal shift. Before any traffic measure can be considered a success or failure, these two main issues must be addressed. The measures are controversial and damage community cohesiveness across the borough, but particularly in South Chiswick and the wider Chiswick-Brentford area, despite the policy framework. TfL's own statistics indicate that most of South Chiswick have a TAL rating 2, poor, or lower, access to public transport. The permanent measures proposed in the report cause tremendous distress to vulnerable and elderly people whose quality of life is dependent on unrestricted access to motor vehicle mobility. The report makes no mention of this concern. It's out of line with the intended outcome. These needlessly sophisticated schemes have led to excessive fines and have caused massive distress to residents caught up in their intricate workings. The authoritarian, physical barriers and the seemingly random use of ANPR technology have altered and obstructed the daily routines of many people and local businesses. The detours imposed by these traffic restrictions seem to have a much significant impact on residents' daily commutes than the benefits that may accrue to other road users and pedestrians. These detours must produce more pollution in the air than any potential benefits from switching to another mode of transportation. The decision to impose more road restrictions and create a new registration whitelist adds to the already expensive administrative burden imposed by existing whitelists. The report does not include any costings for ongoing costs. No traffic modeling was done prior to the implementation of the schemes, and none is being considered now. There is no way to compare the impact of removing the schemes across the road network versus continuing with the more permanent measures. Because residents are so fed up with being ignored, some people in the audience, at the Overview and Scrutiny Call and subcommittee meeting, occasionally disrupted the proceedings. But, the way Councillor Catherine Dunn acted and treated the people was unjustified and vile. Hounslow residents will remember this as a clear indication of a huge gap between public office holders and the rest of society, as well as a breach of trust, until the next elections in May 2022.
Along with my fellow councillors on the subcommittee, I have to just tell you all, have been absolutely overwhelmed by the huge number of emails we have received in relation to the call-in. I apologise that all of us have not been able to respond to every email simply due to the sheer number of them. I mean, we've been receiving them up until just before we've come in, actually. I must emphasise that we have read all of their emails and will be considering the issues raised. Right, I would just like to see if there are any declarations of interest. Yes, Hanif. Oh, I'm Catherine. Councillor. Yes, Councillor Khan.
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to declare that I follow on the Facebook page of Hounslow Cycling, and also clarify that I'm not a member of the London Cycling Campaign. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dunn.
Thank you, Chair. I am a member of the London Cycling Campaign and its local chapter, Hounslow Cycling. I keep an open mind in all decisions that I make related to cycling and other... Sorry, you're not allowed to speak, and you're certainly not allowed to say that I'm saying rubbish.
Okay, can we all just keep calm?
Excuse me!
Okay, can we all just please try and keep calm?
Absolutely disgraceful. You cannot stay quiet.
Councillor
You
Dunn.
must leave.
Councillor Dunn, can we just all start? Thank you. Have you finished? Thank you.
Please hit the like button. If you'd like to say something, post a comment, and if you'd like to be tuned on future reports, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you for your time and attention.